Hello everyone. Sorry to bother you while you're eating. There's some meals still coming in, but I just thought we'd get underway, and I'm just going to introduce Brendan, and he's going to come and share with us. So Brendan has more than 40 years experience in ICT, and he's held various engineering, sales, and management positions with Control Data Corporation, Data General Corporation, and Computer Sciences Corporation. And he subsequently became the founder, CEO, and chairman of the DigiWeb group of companies, which he sold to a private equity firm in 2014. More recently, Brendan has invested in various technology startups and is presently director at ArcActive.com, a battery innovation and technology company, a director at Hewaka Tapu, a local Maori health provider, and chairman of Orphans Aid International. He's married to Catherine with 5 children and is at 14 grandchildren. This needs to be updated. Brendan is a self-declared babysitting expert, but he regrets to advise that his calendar is fully booked until 2030. So join me in welcoming Brendan.
Well, thank you, Stephen, and thank you also to the great committee that you've set up to restart, if you like, the Business Forum 2.0. It's great to be here and see so many familiar faces, so many friends, and people who go a way back. So great to be with you this morning. Stephen asked if I'd do a bit of a talk around my business experience, and so I want to just get on with it this morning because I know time is short and you will want to get back behind that desk or whatever it is that you do when you leave this place this morning. So what I'd like to do, touch on 5 ways to grow your business, and all of these 5 ways we implemented in the DigiWeb group of companies. I want to talk about 5 reasons to value your competitors, and I know that sounds a bit counterintuitive, but I'll explain that shortly. And I just want to finish up with a couple of thoughts around building a healthy workplace culture. So let's get right on with it. The first way to grow your business is the most obvious, and that is organically, one customer at a time. And so it's the way that most people start out, the way that most people start their businesses. And that's certainly true for us in the DigiWeb group. And I quickly realized that if I was only going to sell one $65 a month hosting plan to a customer one at a time, then my family was not going to be able to enjoy the lifestyle to which they'd been accustomed for so long. And so I had to find another way of finding scale to our business, which led me to the second way of growing your business, which is developing a distribution channel or a wholesale channel so that you can have your products retailed out to a whole lot of customers whom you wouldn't normally meet. And for me, the most obvious channel were graphics designers. At the time, web developers really didn't exist because the internet was just getting started. And I would go and knock on the door of graphics designers, and I'd have a conversation with them that went something along these lines. Hi, this is who I am, this is what we do. There's this big thing happening called the World Wide Web, and to coin a phrase from Donald Trump, it's going to be huge, okay? And you really need to be involved in this because it represents both a risk or a threat and an opportunity for you. The threat is that your customers are going to want websites and they're going to want someone to design them for them. And if you're not doing that, they're going to go to your competitors who are doing graphics design today to get their websites developed. Oh, and whilst they're there, they'll probably end up giving them their print business as well. And it was usually at that point in the meeting that I had their full attention. From there, from there, I'd say the opportunity is that what I want to do is to wholesale our services to you. So you're able to develop an annuity revenue stream off the back of our infrastructure, off the back of our services, and just by clicking the ticket as it passes through Go in your business. And so a lot of people found that attractive, and we grew the number of channel partners that we had very rapidly, not just in Christchurch, but right throughout New Zealand. And what I found was that in the end, I just didn't have to call on people, that there were partners signing up for our program just because it was so attractive and they wanted to be part of it. So those 2 ways, organically and then through a distribution channel. Now some of these may apply to your business, some not, but let's keep going. The third way we went about growing our business was to move up the value chain. Now, what happened was, of course, competitors entered the market, and when competitors enter a market, a couple of things happen. But certainly one of the things that happen is that prices often get driven down. So those hosting plans that I was happily selling for $65 a month very rapidly became $50, $35, $15, and I imagine today you can buy the same equivalent for $5 a month or less. So that really forced us to do a couple of things. One was to begin to automate, because you cannot deliver those services to customers unless you diminish or reduce the amount of touch that you have to make it happen. So we began to invest in automation on the back of declining revenues. And that's not a very good experience. You know, your revenues, the revenues didn't go down, but our margins were going down. And you have to invest. So the obvious thing for us to do was to move up the value chain. Unfortunately, we'd scaled large enough that we were able to start to address the corporate market and the government market. And what I found is that we were able to sell products and services to them, and their recurring monthly spend would not be $15 a month or $100 a month, but they'd spend $1,000, $2,000 or $5,000 a month with us, albeit for an expanded set of services that we were providing to them. And the nice thing about that business is not only did it grow our revenues, but it enabled us to retain our margins, because the focus for those customers was not price. The focus was the value that we offered around those end-to-end services that we provided: business continuity, data replication, security, all of those things that our customers needed, we were able to deliver to them. So moving up the value chain. The fourth way we grew our business was through diversification. So we had our core services that we offered, which were around web hosting and data center infrastructure services. But when the domain name market became deregulated, we were one of the first companies to start up a competing domain name registrar business. We called it Discount Domains. Have a think about what the value proposition might be. And then when the market was selling domain names for about $50 to $60, we came in at just under $30. And again, we took the volume approach. It was fully automated, and that business grew very well. I actually thought that people would come to us in droves because the price differential was so high. In fact, it was a trickle. But in any event, we pressed on, and that again became a very important line of business for us. And the other business we established was a payment gateway service. So people start off with a domain name, they took web hosting services from us, and then we provided payment gateway services to complete the loop for those who are in e-commerce transactions. Again, all profitable lines of business that we added to our core services. The fifth way that we grew our business, and probably one of the more enjoyable ways in the end, was through acquisition. And what you discover after a while is that some of your smaller competitors, and so this was certainly the case for us, some of our smaller competitors would reach a plateau in their business, and their revenues would kind of stabilize, and in order to go to the next level, they had to make a significant capital investment. And many of them were reluctant to do that, and or they didn't have the expertise in-house to manage that kind of infrastructure, or the delivery of the services that were required to step up to the next level. And so we were able, and this is for the accountants in the room, I know there's a few of you here, so we were able to buy those businesses for around 2 times earnings. And our business valuation at the time was on multiples of around 6 times earnings. So if you think about this, you buy something at 2 times earnings, you bring it into your business, and it's added 6 times earnings to your valuation. That's just such a great feeling, isn't it? So you buy something for $1 million, and all of a sudden it's worth $3 million to your valuation of your business. And you only have to do that a few times, and it starts to feel very good indeed. So just want to encourage you, often you don't think about acquisition as a way to grow your business, but it's a very legitimate way. And sure, there's some costs, but there's some savings to be made as well, because you can get rid of the CEO for a start. I mean, you don't need 2 CEOs in your business, and you've just added another 6 figures to your bottom line. So 5 ways to grow your business. I hope you found something there that was applicable to what you do. All right, 5 reasons to value your competitors. Well, for a start, your competitors validate the market. If you're going to start a new line of business or sell a new product or a new service, and you look out in the market and you find there are no competitors, there's no one in that space at the moment. Now that could mean one of 2 things. It could mean that you are the smartest guy in the room, or the smartest woman in the room. But more likely it means that there really isn't a market to be had there. So think very carefully about whether or not you should invest into that space if there are no competitors. So the nice thing is that competitors validate that market. They mean there are customers out there waiting to buy your products or your services. And you really only have to be better than 50% of your competitors to do well. If you're going to be better than 75% of your competitors, you're going to do very well. And if you're in the top 10%, you're going to do very, very well. Just something to think about. The other reason you should value your competitors is they make you stronger. And it really is true. I mean, I put my potential All Black career on hold at about 18 years of age. I met this beautiful blonde and started spending more time with her, and we're married today still, which is lovely. So I didn't have time to pursue my All Black sporting career. But what I do have time to do is compete in the field of business. And there's one thing I love is competing and winning. Now, okay, we don't win all the time, I understand that, and I didn't win all the time either, but I won often enough to keep being encouraged about it. And if you're in this room today and you don't have a competitive bone in your body, well, I don't understand you. But I hope you do well anyway. Good. So competing and winning is a very important part, and your competitors allow you to do that. They allow you to do that. The third reason to value your competitors is that one day you might purchase them. And I just want you to think about this. I know I touched on the beauty of purchasing your competitors just a moment ago. But whilst you're here this morning enjoying this breakfast, do you know what your competitors are doing? They're out there working for you. They are out putting in the hard yards so that one day you can bear the fruit of their labours. Have a wee think about that. Okay, have a think about that. So one day you may purchase them. The fourth reason to value your competitors is that one day they might purchase you. And there's some bigger competitors out there that one day are going to decide that you are just the company they need to add to their portfolio. And you get the opportunity to take all that cash off the table, that reward for the fruit of the labours that you've been putting in all those years. So you should be thinking about, actually, if you want an exit strategy, you should be thinking, and I see my good friend Mike Chisholm there. Mike always thought about the exit strategy before he started something. And have a think about who it is that's going to buy your business so that you can exit out of it at some point. And the fifth reason to value your competitors is that sometimes you can do more through cooperation than you can through competing. And we partnered with our competitors from time to time, certainly to lease space in their data centres when we wanted to provide geographical diversity for our customers. We leased space in another data centre here in Christchurch and connected them up with a fibre loop. We leased space in Auckland in another competitor's data centre, and likewise in Sydney. So again, by partnering with our competitors, we're able to add value to our customers, and of course the customer has to be the centre of your commercial and business experience. So, 5 ways to value your competitors. Very briefly, I just want to finish off with the topic of workplace culture and staff, and I have to admit this is one of the hardest aspects that I've found in being in business. Engaging with customers was just a dream and a treat. You know, okay, you had some customers that were difficult and testy, but for the most part, customers are great. But, you know, managing staff, oh, please, I mean, it's bad enough dealing with my own dysfunctions without having to deal with the room full of staff, you know. So, and I think the other thing about, you know, is you go to work in the morning and you've got, you know, 100 things that you want to do and engage in, and they're all great, and they're all about growing your business and taking it forward. And you really just don't have time for this stuff, do you? You know, people come in and they bring in their own chaos and dysfunction to work. I mean, I understand people live chaotic lives, and they do, you know, oftentimes, and we can forget that. So I want to talk about 2 ways of managing staff, which I kind of did intuitively, but often got wrong, to be honest with you. And I was sharing with a friend the other day, and he gave me a couple of phrases which I just want to leave with you, which I hope will help you in your experience in managing staff and building a good workplace culture. The first one is to have generous assumptions about your staff. Now, I know it's very easy to become hardened and cynical and about staff, but he was suggesting, and I think it's absolutely right, and I'll try and do this, have a generous assumption. What does that mean? It means that if you've got a staff member that's failing to meet the performance goals around their job description, who are failing to get to work on time regularly, who are not getting along with their peers, all the things you'd expect your staff to do, have a generous assumption about them. Say, I know that you actually do want to do well in this role. You do want to achieve the goals that we've set before you. You do want to get along with your peers, whatever it is the issue is. And so, but something has come along that's got in the way of your being able to achieve that. So let's have a talk about it. So all of a sudden you're giving that staff member a gift, really. You're gifting them with the assumption that they actually do want to be a decent human being, and they do want to do the best by you, by your customers, and with your other staff. So that's a great gift to give somebody. Second thing is to have what I call walk alongside accountability. Everyone has to be accountable for their performance goals. I have to be accountable, you have to be accountable, your staff have to be accountable. And one of the things I've discovered in life is that it's very easy to have a sort of a confrontational accountability relationship with your staff. It's sort of a default setting that some of us have as business owners, So, but a walk alongside accountability is that you just figuratively put your arm around this person, and I did say figuratively. You must never touch your staff. Never touch your staff. You figuratively put your arm around this person and you say, how can we together put together a strategy that's going to help you achieve your performance goals, or help you get to work on time? Maybe there's a bus that leaves 15 minutes earlier. Do you have a bicycle? Lots of ways that you can brainstorm and strategize to help your staff get there. So just a couple of thoughts to leave with you in that space. So thank you. So we talked about 5 ways to grow your business, 5 reasons to value your competitors, and a couple of ways that you can build a healthy, constructive team environment in your workplace. Thanks very much.